Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Morning Musings. Happy Wednesday morning to you. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. I do appreciate you being with me. Boy, I've got a great end of the year special offer to make to you. Don't click off. Okay. Got something really, I've never done this before. Okay. So it's very special. Well, we are continuing now our study of the Olivet Discourse. While we covered a lot of territory in our study of the Great Tribulation, it was by no means totally exhaustive. Let me just share just a snippet to you, okay? In Matthew chapter 24, verse 22, Jesus said, unless those days, what days? The days of the Great Tribulation. Unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. So that means, okay, catch the power of this, that means the Great Tribulation was not to be a long-lasting event, right? And yet I've called your attention to the fact that men such as Greg Beale and Sam Frost tell us, oh, the Great Tribulation has been going on for 2,000 years. Hello? Except those days be shortened, cut short. So here we have Jesus saying, except those days be shortened, no flesh shall be saved. And we have men such as Beale and Frost saying, the Great Tribulation has not only not been shortened, it has been extended for 2,000 years. Who do you suppose we ought to accept as true and right on this issue? Okay. Well, Jesus not only said that, and oh, by the way, I mean, this is just one of many passages that can be adduced to show that the days in which the New Testament writers were living were not expected to see a protracted eschatology. They absolutely did not envision a 2,000 years last days. The term last days does not indicate a long time. It means, well, hello, last days. So, then we have Jesus saying, this is remarkable. Then when? Now, we could take this then as a temporal then at the time of the Great Tribulation, and I think probably it's appropriate to do so, of that period of the war and even leading immediately up to it. But if it's temporal or if it's logical, and again, I take it as temporal, during the time of this distress, during the time of the abomination, during the time of the Great Tribulation, then if anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or there, do not believe it. For false Christ and false prophets will rise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, the elect. See, I've told you beforehand. Now, who's he talking to? Really, seriously. Who's he talking to? Was he not sitting on the Mount of Olives with his apostles, telling them, you're going to see this. And when this happens, you do not be deceived. He was not talking to the, quote, church timeless, unquote. He was talking to his living, breathing apostles, warning them about what was coming. Now watch verse 26. Therefore, if they say to you, look, he's in the desert, do not go out. Or look, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as the lightning comes from the east and flashes to the west, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Do you really honestly catch the power of that text? Look, if Jesus' coming is to be his coming as a 5'5" Jewish man, then why couldn't they point and say, there he is? You do realize, don't you? I hope you do, that later in that very generation, men came saying, the day of the Lord has already come. You do know, don't you, that there were some in the first century who were saying, the resurrection is already past. You see, in Matthew chapter 24, 26, you have men saying, he's come, he's in the desert, he's over here, he's in the temple. The Lord's already come. Messiah has come. And Jesus said, no, my coming is not going to be, like it is now when I go out into the desert, as a living flesh and blood man among you, or I go to the temple and people point, hey, Jesus is over there in the temple. Not going to be like that. You know why? Because, as verse 29 and following proves, Jesus was teaching that he was not going to be coming as a 5'5" Jewish man in a body of flesh and blood. He was going to be coming in the glory of the Father. He was going to be coming as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Now, understanding the nature of Christ's coming is clearly fundamental to a proper understanding of all eschatology. All three eschatologies of futurist eschatology tell us Jesus is coming back as a 5'5" Jewish man in a physical body of flesh and blood. Is that the kind of coming he was predicting in verse 29 and following? Well, I'm going to show you it's not. But all three futurist eschatologies essentially say that at some point of time, men will say, he's in the desert, he's in the temple. He's a 5'5" Jewish man in a particular location. And Jesus said, no, the Son of Man, the coming of the Son of Man will be like lightning flashing from the east to the west. That's my east, that's my west. Understanding the nature of Christ's coming is critical. Okay, I told you I'm going to offer something that I have never done before. You talk about a price cut. This is for the holidays. This is something for you. In my book, Like Father, Like Son, I have one of the most extensive discussions of the nature of Christ's coming, the nature of the coming of the Son of Man that you will find anywhere. This has actually been used as a textbook for classes on hermeneutic. In my book, The Resurrection of Daniel chapter 12, verse 2, fulfilled or future, one of the largest discussions of Daniel 12 and the resurrection involving a study of what we have just been completing of the abomination and the great tribulation and the connection with the resurrection. And in this book, I discuss, guess what? The great tribulation, proving without any doubt whatsoever it was to be in the first century. Now, if you were to purchase all three books separately, that would total $61.70. Okay? For November and December 2019. This offer does not apply to overseas or out-of-country orders. I apologize for that. If you want a special deal nonetheless, please contact me. We will work with you as best we can to help you. But for in-state, continental U.S., 51 states, for November and December 2019. Total delivered price. Are you ready for this? Wow. $40. That's going to save you 30%. There will be a banner on my website, DonKPreston.com, BibleProphecy.com, Eschatology.org. Oh, and don't forget the app, the free app there, okay? Don't forget that. Okay. Take advantage of this offer, this end of year, last 2 months of the year. Regular price $61.70 for November and December 2019. Total delivered price $40. I can assure you, you're not going to beat that price anywhere. Hey, thanks so much for joining me for this morning's morning musing. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at this language of the coming of the Son of Man, like from the east into the west, and the nature of the coming of the Lord. This is great stuff. I'll see you on the flip side.